about it.
Well, up next, our battleground is going to be Towers of Doom. That this was left up it was surprising to me that No Tomorrow banned Braxis over Towers of Doom because, as J-How put simply, it is the favorite of Simplicity.
Been their favorite for a long time. Whenever
It's the hammer comp.
retire the hammer.
We're all Hanzo Jaina now.
Look, if you don't get Yrel, pick Hanzo. Hosty Hanzo, Gilly, the numbers that he put up in the entirety of Phase 1, I was like, I've never seen Hosty in a carry role before. And then K1 came back to be what was presumed to be that role. And we've seen so much transitioning between those two in the back and who's playing what. I'll play this one game, you play. Just give me a Hosty Hanzo, let K1 blast some people somewhere else. That is such a deadly force that I've been waiting to see. We get it. That's what it looks like.
All right, well, Hosty Hanzo, there. This time, I want K1 Li Ming.
I'll take anything that K1 wants to throw at him.
Yeah, soften him up with Scatter Arrow and then let K1 jump all over. Play a game of Leapfrog with some teleports. Pretty good time.
I kind of want to see the Genji come back out for No Tomorrow. It made it through last draft, ended up being banned in the second ban phase. This is a map that caters a little bit more towards that Genji playstyle, if we do see that. I think one thing that teams will have to consider, No Tomorrow, they're going to have to consider banning an Abathur against Simplicity. It's something that Hosty can also run. So there are some things to consider outside of the norm that might let some of those powerful heroes still through here for Simplicity, Hanzo included.
Well, I think if we see Simplicity have some global focus, they're probably going to be looking at that hammer because they like being able to play globals along with the hammer to make up for some of her deficits in the draft. But this is a battleground where Genji is preferred for No Tomorrow, and if they can get it, they like running Genji and Hanzo together here. So we'll see if that is even available to them with, it seems like teams being more interested in banning Chromie now over banning Genji for the Sergeant Hammer.
No Tomorrow? You could always, if you're afraid of everything else, just let Jimmy through.
Jay Shritta played a mean Rainer. Game 1 versus Octalysis.
I think Simplicity's going to first ban Diablo again. This is another good Diablo battleground, as is our lot right now, but
They may ban Abathur over it if No Tomorrow doesn't ban it. And there it is. It worked for LFM. LFM's strategy was we ban Hammer every game versus Simplicity, and LFM beat Simplicity. That's not the only reason, but it is something that they just did not feel comfortable dealing with, and No Tomorrow don't want to deal with it.
No Tomorrow, I feel, is going to try and wrestle control out of the Yrel this game. For Simplicity, the silver lining for them is that Zuna plays a pretty mean Dahaka.
And
Global on
Blaze.
this map, and Blaze. I think the Dahaka, for me, is more Zuna style. It's easier to get to that back line. He gets the global style. The playmaking is definitely there.
Especially on this map.
Yeah, both heroes. It makes it easier to live.
You know what else makes it easier to live? Lifebinder.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be here. No Tomorrow tried it. Don't want to have to devote a one of their earlier bans or one of their earlier picks to it this game, so they're just going to take it away. This makes me think they are going to be looking to bust some heads, get in there and blow someone up.
Not even crack some skulls, but bust some heads.
Is that a phrase?
Crack some skulls, Murden.
I don't know. There's your Diablo man. It's last match on a Sunday, okay? We're running out of words, as evidenced by my throw at the end of last match. Woo!
Let's get more of that. More. So Genji, Tracer, both have made it through.
Genji, Casanova.
Hit me with the Yrel, Hanzo. Figure out the rest later. I don't think we're going to get that. We're going to get the Murden instead. I
Hammer Squad.
anticipated the Murden. For No Tomorrow, this is their chance to pick up Hanzo.
Yes, it is. I do like the Murden Yrel, though. And I think, though maybe it's not as a deadly duo as some of the other heroes like the Jnet and Hanzo. Simplicity still feel like their backline is very flexible, so they can make sure that they get exactly what they want. But Abathur's still up. Abathur, Kharazim, Genji. Ooh, I'm liking what I'm seeing from No Tomorrow.
The Abathur made it through, did not get picked up by Simplicity. And Kharazim, so double Kharazim, very much a threat. Double Genji, very much a threat. And it's a matter of what do I need at this moment, and both of them fit in very well.
I'm wondering what Simplicity wants to ban here, given that new Barak.
Noob is also a very good clone target.
Yeah, and they're focusing on Jhin a lot in these two drafts.
So you have to have heroes that can survive the onslaught. One of the things I remember hearing from one of our more prominent support players in Europe was, why Tranquility also? This was back at the first Western Clash. Why have we seen this? And it first originated, again, it started to make its way comeback, was Malfurion. Was why Tranquility? It's to sustain versus once the clone is down, you're fine. The minute the clone comes out, you get Tranquility, survive that onslaught. So the Malfurion ban makes a lot of sense here.
Oh yeah, especially with the Anubarak ban, because you want to make sure that Cocoon doesn't come out against your Malfurion. But regardless, Simplicity will leave their support to the end. They get Thrall and Phoenix, which is a strong duo together. They have a lot of fighting power themselves now between the two of them, and with that front line. Now what does No Tomorrow use to finish out this draft?
They're going to go double reset with a Li Ming here.
I think they're going to want a solo laner, though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I guess they're just going to... We have seen teams...
We have seen some change-ups of what a solo lane might be here, but I thought they'd want something more traditional, which is what that Malthael feels. Also, another clone target. They have hat targets for days. Simplicity gets Uther. Uther Tiger JK has played quite a few Uther games in Phase 2 so far. He's Divine Shield. He has a Cleanse to help versus an all-in style of composition, but the Divine Shield for sure to help out with that. Thrall now adds a lot of survivability. You have Warp for Phoenix, and Murden and Urel are about as tanky as it gets on the front line.
A lot of self-sustain between those two, which makes it easier. Phoenix the same way. I don't know if I've seen this. Phoenix has a couple of 13s, auxiliary shields, generally wins out, so you get the shields back on autos. But he has another one where you get shields based on how much healing you get. And since most heals are pretty minuscule, like that's not really the meta, I think that one might have seen... I'm trying to remember if that was one of the ones that got buffed not too long ago.
It's been buffed 2 to 3 times.
Yeah.
Rapid regeneration.
Is this a Uther time?
Could be.
Did we see that? I don't know if I've seen that talent picked up yet. If it's there, I might have missed it. But I want to see it. That's one way to keep Phoenix nice and healthy, just give him more shields.
I think we have seen it once. I don't know if it was in NA or EU, but it's still generally auxiliary shielding.
Well, don't tell that to Yoda. He ran the warp armor twice earlier.
Yeah, you're
like
right.
Vanium Shell. He's like, I'm going to do it differently.
That was buffed too.
Yeah, up to 50%. Either way, we got our Abathur. There has not been a lot of Abathur because he has been banned out a lot on key maps, like Towers of Doom. Even with the double ban at the beginning, Abathur made it through here. No Tomorrow is going to try their hand.
If you would have shown me a Malthael Genji last year, I would have said, yeah, Tormented Souls is a great setup to Dragon Blade. Both of those heroic abilities have fallen out of favor. So I'm wondering if there will be any adjustment to either of those, or if we'll see something like an X-Strike into a Last Rites, which can function pretty well against the more tankier front line of Simplicity, but there are things to consider, like the health that you get from Avatar, the shielding of Urel too.
I'm excited to see how this plays out. I'm imagining all the talent trees filled out. I'm trying to picture how this will go late game. Tiger JK, of course, bringing the hammer. He's had a lot of success with the Uther so far.
He has. even flexing over to a Divine Storm that utterly wrecked Endemic in one game. I think they're going to find they'll want the Divine Shield here.
Yrel making her way down now. See if Simplicity will contest this. It is an Abathur comp. There's a lot of damage. The Swift Strike in the back. Hosty in trouble. There's takedown number 1. Yrel's about to jump into the fray here. See if they can trade out. Tiger JK doing his best. King Caffeine forced a Dwarf Toss out. No kills just yet. There's the blind onto K1 Pro. In this comp for No Tomorrow, off to a good start.
Oof, the No Tomorrow Malthael, Tomster's Malthael with the Abathur hat was deadly. When you start a fight and your Death Shroud goes out and it hits that many people, it's gonna be a good time. And this is a poison type of hero taking damage over time against a cooldown-based support of Uther. I think that this is looking pretty good. No Tomorrow showing that they definitely know how to play and execute this comp.
Speaking of builds, Gilly, Abathur not going Carapace build, not at level 1, so there's no reason for them to really go it at level 4s. We're going full mines. So you get the bonus damage at level 1, can help with wave clear, can help during the rotations. Then of course getting the cooldown reduction plus bonus charges at level 4.
We'll see if he adds a slow to that at 7. And slow rotations between lanes, which I think it was yesterday we talked about Divine Steed versus the On a Pale Horse of a Malthael, how that will work out once Yrel picks up Divine Steed at level 7. If that's the pick. We've seen Zuna pick some different things. Triple altar phase has begun. Tomster is gonna stall Zuna out at least one time as Abathur, the more pressure that Malthael can put on there allows Abathur to more safely get the safe altar, which is why we did see him move over there. It also slows down Yrel from being able to rotate down, though Simplicity will still get 2 of the 3 altars.
That blind by Jen might have been enough to save Akaphase. Tomster, however, his fate is entirely different. He turns the dust there, and that's going to be the first kill for Simplicity.
A lot of brawling this game, which sort of feels like No Tomorrow, if No Tomorrow is saying that that is Simplicity's purview, rising to the challenge and the occasion with getting this Abathur, Genji, Malthael, Kharazim composition.
I punch you, you smack me with a hammer. Feel it's unfair.
Put the Reaper's mark on you, and then the last rites.
Yeah, but in that 1v1, one person's forced to wear gloves, the other one gets to wield a hammer and armor. And yet the person wearing gloves, I think, wins that trade.
Well, Simplicity lost the trade on these sappers last time. They're going to put way more focus on the sappers. This time, Zuna has come down to mid. Recognized by Jin, though he's already on his way out of here. Sappers grabbed by Simplicity, and this looks a lot better, especially since they did deal with some damage on their towers in the bottom. What's up?
I almost wondered if Uther would change his level 7 talent, because there's not a lot of CC. You do get benefit on stuns on another talent on your cooldown reduction, and Johanna did go Blessed Momentum for extra cooldown reduction on her W, which is really the only stun in this game on the side of No Tomorrow.
Stuns, roots, and silences for both of those.
It's another takedown. Very timely for No Tomorrow as they take down Uther.
If the concern, though, is a Blessed Shield and that's it, and once the Blessed Shield's out on one person, you have the cleanse there. You get them out, get them away, and then you still have Divine Shield to be used if the damage comes in and is too much from the double Genji or the double Kharazim, and then the Malthael.
Conceding the altar is Simplicity, tied up 32-32 after losing that Uther. No need in contesting that. All things pretty much even. Did see the further into the nest build.
It's good for an Abathur that they have stayed even all the way up in experience, and for the core health too, that they haven't taken too much damage there. Even invaded and stole a sapper camp. And tomorrow making it through this early game with flying colors as they're ramping up for their heroic abilities. And then we can see what the game plan is with that clone.
Just curious what we're going to get from Malthael. The Tormented Souls against an Uther is appealing, but Muradin, Yrel, and even Thrall, especially if he goes Earthquake, gets self-healing of their own. Is it enough? You get hit by the Wave of Light pretty easily when you're stacked with this much melee.
I think there is a world with the Tormented Souls because you apply a lot of Reaper's marks versus a lot of melee targets. And then you get a lot of self-healing for yourself. But there's also ways of whittling down health bars, you know, with an X strike, possibly 7-sided strike, depending on how they're going to play this. And there's a last rights choice for Tomster. Let's see if he can get someone low enough. Zuna starting to look like a likely target. 7-sided strike came out too. X strike hits, Calf, Zuna, everyone starting to fall low. Ardent Defender comes out, the Purification Salvo as K1 Pro warps back.
There's so much damage coming out. Last Rights is going to confirm the first kill against a Thrall, and that's exactly how these team fights are going to look. Getting through that initial burst of this style from No Tomorrow, it's going to prove itself difficult. There's another altar channeled for No Tomorrow. They're going to grab a second at the bottom. Tiger, JK, and team. It looks like they're also going to have to give up another Sapper Camp killing.
No need for Tormented Souls to apply Reaper's Mark to a lot of people. If you clone a Malthael and he gets that many Reaper's Marks, because Malthael's auto attack cleaves, and everybody had a Reaper's Mark on them, and that is, you're just asking to be able to bring down enough to get a kill from Last Rights in the end, and at such perfect timing for No Tomorrow. As long as they're doing that around those altars, then it guarantees they can get the channel and keep being more objective focused from that as they take a lead in the core health for the first time in this game.
Another camp, King Caffeine and team snipping it out, but with Yrel already showing the rotation to the top, you know, it's just for stacking purposes. No real threat coming out from Simplicity. They don't find themselves terribly far behind in XP, but with the core health falling, the kills in favor of No Tomorrow, and this bot lane pressure, it seems that No Tomorrow is in control of this game.
We'll see if Simplicity can change that fate as Yrel looks to flank around the side of No Tomorrow. Simplicity want to deal with these sappers if they can, but Zuna starts to come in. Avenging Wrath jumps in. Focused on the sappers for the moment. Double altars will be activating in the top in 30 seconds. And both teams will start the rotation up with No Tomorrow in the lead in experience, but just half a level.
I think this is going to be a trade. It doesn't feel like there should be too much to contest. Abathur can always sneak over, grab that while the 4 members of No Tomorrow go in. They'll have 13 talent tier advantage if they can continue to soak. Right now, Calf finds a couple of members in the bush. Zuna started the channel. Casanova does have the poke on that Genji. It's enough for now. There's the channel by Karazim. No Tomorrow, they are going to try and flex. 13.
Almost here.
Yeah.
So close. Tiger JK starting the channel right before this 13 hits. Iron Skin used. He has to come off. He's needing to heal the team. K1 Pro has taken damage. Everyone has taken damage. They use the Earthquake. Tomster and Jay Shrita with the double Malthael in the back line, doing lots and lots of work. Nearly take down somebody with an X strike. There's going to be a Divine Shield, though, that stops the last rights, but even still, Uther falls. And look at these health bars of Simplicity.
It's way too tough to overcome. The clone is down, but the damage is done. King Caffeine contemplating jumping over. K1 Pro with the flank, Jin with the defense, and the swift strike over. Not enough to get the takedown. Akafe starting to get the channel. Tomster ripping those health bars away. I think that's enough on Zuna. That range confirming another kill.
It's not just Malthael, it's Malthael plus Malthael or Malthael with an Abathur hat. Tomster is a terror on this Malthael. It's looking good for No Tomorrow to tie the series back up. And I don't know where it changes for Simplicity. They do get more heals. 13 is a big one for Muradin getting healing static, and then having Frostwolf's Grace has a self-heal for Thrall, but every talent here, ramp up for No Tomorrow just increases what they can do too. I don't know. What are you feeling will change this, Jay?
Well, the healing static, I think, is enough for Muradin, and allowing him to stay on the front line. 16 will also be very good, especially if he goes to self-heal. Thrall, as you said, self-sustain, self-sustain, self-sustain. Auxiliary shields for Phoenix. From Uther, maybe it comes down to level 16. Just getting that extra ability that he can toss out there. He did go well met. Kind of wondered if we would see change up there. There's going to be another stun from King Caffeine.
Yeah, maybe a Blessed Champion.
Yeah, just your auto attacks heal those that are around you.
Yeah, usually Benediction is used for a double stun, but I can easily see him
for a double heal.
Like he needs a double heal. He didn't take Wave of Light either at one. It just picking this Uther into a Malthael. We saw the Divine Shield and why it was used, and it does help stop the burst of the Last Rites and the X-Strike, but in the process, they are taking heavy casualties every fight from the double Malthael.
Well, we're going to have another fight, and it's unavoidable. Zuna gets the channel on the top right. The action already underway here in the bottom. Genji is about to make his way on. The clone is out. Here we go. K1 Pro. There's the Blessed Shield. K1 Pro gets instantly deleted, and now Simplicity just trying to salvage what's left of this situation because they have taken so much. Shrite, the clone, will go down. It's still a 4-on-4, but once the Abathur hat is included, it gets more difficult.
Yrel had to channel the safe altar, which meant that she wasn't here for the start of that fight, and Phoenix being out so far, being killed by a 7-sided strike is not copacetic with that swift strike. Casanova doing a ton and having flow like water, got another one, X-Strike down, and even though they don't get further kills here with the damage between Malthael and now Genji putting out on multiple members of Simplicity, they force back Simplicity enough that they get the channel of this altar.
Shoutouts to Shrite there. Beautiful Abathur positioning to make sure and continue to body soak even while the clone was out. Previously, he was in the middle of this lane, but it allowed him to continue to get the body soak during the clone phase, during the hat phase, and it extended their lead just more than the kills did. But getting that extra experience, squeezing out every ounce that he can from that Abathur, very good heads-up play during the middle of all that.
I think what's truly awesome about this comp too, as a Divine Shield is forced to be used, it's a long cooldown to force. But what is awesome about this composition is I always love seeing poison comps executed well on Towers of Doom.
Oh my, just enough. I had to hold my breath for that one.
So did I. I stopped talking. Poison comps on Towers of Doom, because even if you don't get kills, if you whittle down that many health bars, and against an Uther with the cooldowns, and his trouble with that, you force them back long enough that you get the channel anyway. And that ultimately is how you end the game on Towers of Doom. It is not a matter of necessarily even getting the kills to race toward the core and end it, because you can't end off of a channel like this. Eventually, Simplicity will have to fight maybe just to the death over these altars though, because it's 28-8 now, but at least they have 16.
Well, Thrall, bit scarier now. See, we'll be able to stack up some of the damage on that lightning. Clone ready. Yrel on the way down. Jen holding the front line. They're going to initiate it before this altar phase started. Casanova going in to get this started, Gilly.
Hosty had to Earthquake, but it did jump his health bar back up. Purification Salvo puts the damage back onto No Tomorrow for a second with a 7-sided strike. Everything X-Strike, Last Rites, murders Muradin. And now only 4 left here, though No Tomorrow have taken some damage. It's enough that they're still in control.
They are super low. See if Simplicity opts to go forward. There's going to be a route. Hosty, he lands the lightning. Does not jump over to Akaface, just out of range perhaps. The priority target wasn't there, but K1 Pro trying to go in for a kill, ends up getting exploded on. And so for Simplicity, staggered death, continuing to lose control, down to 4 core health. Is this a boss call to end the game? Because they're moving up.
Muradin back in 6, it seems like it. No, Phoenix is the only ranged damage dealer left for Simplicity. And all the heroic abilities except a Divine Shield.
seven-sided strength. I think they were trying to see if they could gank somebody coming out there.
Well, I know
Here
that
it comes.
Simplicity has to watch this. All they have to do is get one more. They're looking at Uther. He Divine Shields himself. Posty's going to come back in. They're still trying to fight this out without a Phoenix. Zuna body blocked, and now read his last rites. That may be the staggered death necessary for No Tomorrow to finish out this game.
Posty with the root. Those mines are doing some serious damage. Boss is underway. No Tomorrow trying to even this up 1-1. Hosty continue to put out damage, just a second away from having Earthquake. You see if it drops. Here it comes. Salvo out. They're trying to take down No Tomorrow. Akaface makes it out alive for now. Tiger JK trying to stay alive. X-Strike coming down. Jin walking away. Jin somehow surviving as Akaface has kept him alive. The fight is on all fronts. 3 members have fallen, though, on the side of No Tomorrow. Last rites, I believe, helped confirm a kill. Wow.
That was a clutch fight for Simplicity. But they have so much to overcome if they have any hopes of turning this game around. They're going to have to do that again, and we're going to take a look at that one again.
This was wild because the fight was on both fronts. I mean, we tried to capture it all. Jin, as he moved towards the bottom, was solo, gets the heal over the wall from Akaface in a moment. But all of that all in, and then the fight raging on up at the top. It was just crazy the way that that went down.
That was a lot of chaos. Jay Shritta, though, with that clone, getting another kill for in favor of No Tomorrow, but Simplicity are going to take that and run with it. They get the sappers in the bottom. They have a second sapper camp on the way. They look to take out the bell tower here. This limits somewhat what an Abathur can do on this map by taking down the bell tower here. We'll see if they can get more. They have to do what they can to get more. The boss back up, and it's still a win condition for No Tomorrow.
Oh, we're not even waiting for 20.
No,
We're not even waiting for 20. Simplicity says, let's go. We're going to go. Jin, first target, body block with the Dwarf Toss. Casanova already in. Simplicity's backed off. Clone is out.
Simplicity is split. They need to get back together. That Earthquake will help that. Slows, seven-sided strike. Ardent Defender soaks that up. Jay Shritta, clone dealt with. Last right's out, but Divine Shield stops the damage, keeping Zuna in the fight. X-Strike goes down, as does Zuna, as he wants to keep going, keep fighting.
That's done.
That Storm Bolt was perfect from King Caffeine, but there's a Swift Strike out. Simplicity hangs in.
Wow. Simplicity used everything that they had to survive that.
There's no clone.
They're trying to take away this win condition. I think they're able to do it because the next altar phase is double altar.
Oh, Jay, how they're low. It's a double altar phase. They still don't have 20, and they have to fight into that choke of the altar. They actually don't. They could give it up because they have 5 shots. Ooh.
Not an easy decision to make. See if they trade out. They have 20 tier advantage for a moment. Akaface already in position to start the channel. Zuna and team moving forward. Nobody even starting the channel on the opposite side.
Isn't Urel's Ardent Defender upgrade a heal for your teammates, your nearby allies?
I'm so used to seeing self-cleanse. I didn't know there was another tower.
He took Bubble Hearth.
Oh, baby. Casanova is dueling on the backside. Watch your mini-map. Look at the health bars up at the top because the rest of Simplicity is here, creating the action. Jin coming forward. Clone is out. Casanova missed on that Swift Strike. The fight rages on. X-Strike comes down. Salvo in return. And the Blessed Shield missed in the middle of all that. Simplicity in control right now in the early part. Casanova first to fall.
Now they get the kill on Casanova. Tiger JK low, but that's where he wants to be as Uther now that they've hit 20. That's an okay spot for him to be in. Simplicity, I cannot believe they're doing this. But with that one boss fight, they have found all the momentum necessary. Now Jin in danger. Makes it back out alive, had the shielding, had the health, but the channel remains for Simplicity, bringing it down to 13-4, and they go back to the boss for a third time.
Take away any win condition. They'll likely give up the bottom bell tower. You've got to respect Simplicity. They have fought back valiantly in these fights. See if they can make it to the bottom in time. They definitely need to fall back in heart. If they give up that bottom bell tower, one altar can win the game.
And it's a double alter phase next.
And now double alter cannot win the game unless Simplicity reclaims another bell tower. Previously, 9 shots, 5 twice. Obviously that wins. Now, not so much.
I respect the tenacity of Simplicity as much as your math skills, Jay Howe.
So a lot?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Sapper versus Sapper. Simplicity pushing up. Trying to take these out early because their bell tower's low in this lane. And look at Abathur in the top of the symbiote starting to bring that down. Limiting the win conditions of Simplicity now, which didn't seem to be a problem for No Tomorrow until things started falling apart in the fights. 30 seconds left until this alter phase begins.
Well, it all comes down to this for Simplicity. Cannot give up a single channel, and this is in 2 spots. It's a matter of when the clone comes out. Can they force a fight to get an early clone now, or do they just try and channel behind? Abathur, can we get mines down? All heroics available for both teams. Muradin comes in, starting things off, and here we go.
Phoenix starting the channel. Casanova has an easy way of stopping that. Has the Abathur hat too. Simplicity's being forced out of bottom. The channel starts. Zuna's there. He gets the stop there. Simplicity's going to be pulled back and forth like taffy until they can get the fight going, until they find the right spot to drop those crucial heroic abilities for them.
Zuna's holding point. They want to get K1 Pro on the backside of any of this to be in safe position, but also threaten turn, and Earthquake is out. They're bringing the fight. The clone's staying alive for now. Shrite goes in. Once that comes down, they know they have an advantage. Does Simplicity. There goes the clone. Salvo is out. King Caffeine will complete the channel. I don't think Casanova can make it there in time. Oh, I think a mine. I think a mine might have gotten him.
But the channel in the bottom works for Simplicity. Still getting the 4 shots from that. Simplicity keeping alive all of their bell towers in what seemed like impossible circumstances to do so. No Tomorrow bringing the fight without the clone doesn't matter, but Casanova gets wrecked by the Arsenal synergy that we saw. Now 7-sided strike going down. Ardent Defender once again tanks it out. X-Strike drops down. It's Uther who dies. Another one with the living weapon. Casanova doing all he can, and it's a bloodbath here on Towers of Doom.
And I think this is going to be in Simplicity's favor because Uther's about to be back, and this is all that's going to be here as Jin comes back in. For Simplicity, they take a bell tower. This is game over. They get bell tower plus channel. It is game over here. Simplicity has fought back, and it looks like they are on their way to taking a 2-0 lead after a brutal start for them, or have now fought their way back here in game number 2.
Working on taking down this bottom bell tower. Tomster came back. He returned with No One Can Stop Death, but Yrel waiting so that she can start the channel. Tomster too far back. They have Abathur, they have Malthael, but it doesn't seem to be enough. They take care of the mine, and Simplicity wins on Towers of Doom. I counted them out pretty early on. I think a lot of people would have counted them out pretty early on. But that one boss fight, Simplicity wins a fight, and Simplicity feels good.
13 and 16 were such crucial talent pickups for this team. Abathur did so much damage, as did Malthael in those fights. But Posty on that Thrall, post 16, I guarantee you those numbers just skyrocketed. That 16 pickup for him in those chokes and that much coming at you, he's stacking for days and dishing out so much damage in those fights. That was insane turnaround there.
That was an amazing Towers of Doom game between Simplicity and No Tomorrow, but no doubt a fairly disheartening loss for No Tomorrow, though I want to credit, I don't know if they're still keeping with the drafting changes, the drafter, having Jin, which worked for them very well, versus Octalysis earlier this weekend, but this was a much different draft than what they have shown from us, but it was still a very calculated draft, and one that obviously they had put some work into in scrims because it was well practiced, they knew their win conditions, and they all but had it.
It came down to one last team fight. You know what? Conveniently enough, we can actually take another look at that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so a lot of this, it's chaotic. I don't know if we have time to fully break it down, but it all starts with the Malthael engagement. The Casanova, the living weapon, was so strong. I think the problem that we had was it was Tiger JK that was the first to fall. The amount of damage that came out in return from K1 Pro throughout all of this was so significant. we just pause right here because everything, when the X Strike comes down, this is exactly what you want as a Genji player. The health bars, however, for all of No Tomorrow was rough as we'll roll it forward. But the X Strike getting the kill initially, D-Shield went out. That was kind of the clutch moment.
Yeah.
He's like, look, I know I'm going to die. I can't give that to you while I'm dead. So he gets the D-Shield out. Obviously, Last Rites comes in. But little old Uther, Ghost Uther, we kind of sometimes wonder where does his true value lie? It lies in death, especially post-level 20. And that there was unfortunate for No Tomorrow. They came so close to getting multiple kills there, but shoutouts to Tiger JK getting the D-Shield off, knowing he was about to die, and he wants to die at that point. Getting that off, protecting one person, dishing out the heals, allowing his team to finish that fight, because it was on a knife's edge towards the end of that. No Tomorrow, my goodness. You think about their series, how heartbreaking it was before all these engagements. They came so close to getting kills. They were doing it here early, and all of them in the late. Health bars on both sides were so tiny. It's like, who's going to win? And Simplicity held out.
And earlier on, the aggressive positioning of K1 Pro was giving me a heart attack on that Phoenix, but later on, he got max damage done with his Arsenal Synergy, his Plasma Cutters, his Purification Salvos. It was a heck of a game, and we're going to have more after this break. We'll be back with Game 3. This is HGC.